I do like tariffs. Tariffs, tremendous tariffs, tariffs that are massive. To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about something that's not just a headline. It's a seismic shift that could reshape real estate markets on both sides of the US-Canada border.
We will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
President Trump has just imposed tariffs on Canada. And while the immediate focus is on trade and politics, the ripple effects will be felt deeply in the real estate world. Now, having closely followed real estate trends since as far back as I can remember, I have seen interest rates as high as 18%, and I have watched markets boom and bust. But what's happening right now, this is different.
Trade policy under President Trump has the potential to send shockwaves through the global economy.
These tariffs aren't just about steel, aluminium, or lumber. They are about the very foundation of how our economies and housing markets are interconnected.
They owe us a lot of money, and I'm sure they're going to pay.
So let's take a deep dive. Let's talk about what this really means for homeowners, investors, construction worker, and anyone with a stake in real estate. And I'll share some insights you won't hear anywhere else. First, let's talk about Canada.
Canada will be responding to the US trade action with 25% tariffs.
Canada's real estate market, particularly in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, has been a global darling for years. But these tariffs, they are about to throw a wrench into the works. Now, here's why. Canada is one of the largest exporters of softwood lumber to the United States. Tariffs on lumber mean higher costs for Canadian producers. But here's the twist. Those costs don't just disappear. They get passed on.
Yeah, it's very concerning, and thinking about planning and investment decisions, they're all kind of in limbo.
And who ends up paying? Home buyers and renters. So in the short term, we are likely to see a slowdown in new construction. Developers are already grappling with rising costs, and these tariffs would only make things worse.
Demand is here, supply is here, so price just goes through the roof.
Fewer new homes mean tighter supply, and tighter supply means higher prices. In cities like Toronto, where affordability is already a crisis,
the skyrocketing cost of living.
I was skipping meals because I was struggling to afford my food and my rent.
2 million Canadians had to use the food bank in 1 month alone.
These could push the dream of home ownership even further out of the reach for young families. Now let's shift south of the border. In the US, the story is a bit more complicated. On the surface, you might think, well, if we are taxing Canadian lumber, that's good for American producers, right? And yes, in theory, it is. But here's the reality. The US housing market is already facing a severe shortage of affordable homes.
Skyrocketing housing costs have many families in America living in a nightmare. The shortage of affordable housing is forcing them to choose between basic needs and a roof over their heads.
Tariffs on Canadian lumber will drive up construction costs, and that's going to hit home builders really hard. Many developers are already operating on thin margins, and higher material costs could force them to scale back projects or focus exclusively or entirely on luxury developments. What does that mean for you? If you are a first-time home buyer or someone looking for an affordable home, this is bad news.
Millions of Americans are struggling.
The rent is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on in the world.
8 years ago, I could have been paying for a one-bedroom apartment like $900. Now it's double, $1,500.
The already limited supply of starter homes could shrink even further. pushing prices up and making it even harder to get into the market. But let's not stop there. Let's talk about the broader economic implications, because that's where things get really interesting. Tariffs don't exist in a vacuum. They create uncertainty, and uncertainty is the enemy of investment. If trade tensions between the US and Canada escalate, businesses on both sides of the border may delay expansion plans or hold off on new projects. That means fewer jobs, slower wage growth, and ultimately less demand for real estate. And here is something you won't hear many people talking about: the impact on mortgage rates.
That we're seeing some strain in the system, but until mortgage rates come down and supply increases, we're not going to see prices go
high prices and high mortgage rates, so it's a double whammy. Housing feels especially unaffordable.
When trade tensions rise, investors often flock to safe haven assets like US Treasuries. That drives bond yields down, and with them, mortgage rates. Now, lower mortgage rates might sound like a silver lining, but don't be fooled. If the broader economy slows down, job growth could stall, and that's a much bigger problem for the housing market than slightly lower rates. Furthermore, if you are in the real estate game as an investor, developer, a house flipper, home buyer, or construction worker, you need to start thinking strategically. In Canada, I expect to see a bifurcation in the market. Luxury properties in cities like Toronto and Vancouver will likely hold their value, but the middle and lower segments of the market would struggle as affordability worsens. In the US, the story is similar, but with a twist. Luxury developments may continue to thrive, but the affordable housing crisis will only deepen. If you are an investor, this could be an opportunity to focus on niche markets like rental properties or mixed-use developments that cater to middle-income families. Here is the bottom line. Tariffs are more than just a political tool. They are an economic lever that can move markets in ways most people don't anticipate. And in real estate, where markets are driven by supply, demand, and consumer confidence, these shifts can have lasting consequences. So, what should you do?
The American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching.
If you are a homeowner, stay informed and keep an eye on your local market. If you are an investor, think long-term and consider how these changes might create new opportunities. And if you are thinking about buying or selling, now more than ever, you need to work with a real estate professional who understands the bigger picture. Folks, this real estate I always talk about isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's about people, lives, economies, and the forces that shape our lives. And right now, those forces are shifting in ways we haven't seen in decades. So, whether you are a first-time buyer, a seasoned investor, or just someone who cares about the future of our communities, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, in times of change, there is always opportunity. Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel for more insights. Until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.